Whoops, too high. Good morning. How is everybody today? I'm going to call myself up on my iPad and my computer. There's Facebook. I need to redo this. Okay, I'm live on both, so give me a minute to get it started. Hey, Kim. All right, I've got it all straight and ready to go. Whew. I was running this morning, running behind a little bit. Let's see, what's going on? Beautiful day. I think it's going to be a little warm. Usually we do have warm weather right about now, but there was a nice breeze this morning. I took Ezzy for a walk. It was a little warm. Good morning, Janice. So I have a feeling it's going to be a hot day. I have her right now over in her pen, and I gave her a Kong, and in the Kong I put her some of her food, and I've sealed it with peanut butter to keep her busy. She's been getting into a lot of trouble lately, so I'm crating her when I'm doing this kind of stuff because I can't keep my eyes on her. So I gave her something to keep her busy. This is her first time with the Kong, so we'll see, but she seems to be doing with it okay. She's trying to get the treats out of, hey Barb, out of the small end instead of licking the peanut butter to get the big treats. It'll just keep her busy, and mentally she'll be exhausted when we're done, and maybe she'll relax a little bit. All right, I thought it would be fun today to take some of my cards that I have made using Inked and Tiled and use the new set, Spotlight on Nature, which is very similar, and show you how you can take a card you've made with one set and redo it, remake it with another set. And I love to do that a lot, especially for sets that are so similar. So I picked out 3. I don't know if I'm going to do all 3. I'll start with 1 and see where I go. I had to do some fudging on some things because some of this stuff is retired, and I didn't want to use it. I noticed that one of the cards I'm going to do has ribbon on it, and it's the braided twine, the braided stuff that we had, which we don't have anymore. We don't have any really masculine ribbon. So I don't know if I'm going to add a ribbon or not, although that's not a masculine card. I'm looking at it and going, that's not a masculine card. I don't know why I chose it. So we'll see. I may not add ribbon, and then again, I may get the urge to put something on there and find something. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started because if I can do all 3 cards, I'd like to. I have the stuff for 1 card pulled but not cut, so we'll go from there. All right, I'm going to flip this around, so if you get dizzy, close your eyes, and we'll get started. And of course, I will probably lose my live feed on okay, open your eyes. I can't zoom in. I'm not going to fool with it. I don't have time this morning. All right, so there's the Spotlight on Nature set. Now, I got this. I wasn't going to buy it, but I had some Hostess code rewards I needed to use thanks to all your orders last month. So I ordered this. And this, I didn't realize, is a rubber stamp set. So I don't put the labels on the back of mine. I stick them back here. I just don't like the way they stick, and then they lose their stick, for lack of a better term, after a while. So the only thing I do is I pull off the backing, And I save everything because then I know if I'm missing a piece or not. All right, so there we go. And so far I haven't lost my thing. So then I stick this in, but I'm not going to stick it down right away because I want this image out of here. And I did pull in the dies because there's a couple of cards that or at least one card that I'd use the die for. So we'll see. All right, and then I stick this back in here, and like I said, I can then tell if I've got a stamp missing. So there's that. I will be using the dies, not on this one, so I'm going to set them aside. All right, first thing I'm going to do is, this is the card I'm going to do. This one. And I don't think this will work. Nope, it's too big. So that means I'm going to use this one. And I can just barely get it on there, like so. Now, I didn't pull any inks because this one, I like the way the top of this is done. This is a different flower, so I'm not certain it's going to work. I know I used Old Olive and Daffodil and Calypso Coral, but I'm using the 24 to 26 in color paper, and this is the Peach Pie. So I know I'm going to need Old Olive marker. Let me grab that, and I will get the Daffodil marker, and I don't think I have, no I don't. I don't have the markers for this. I don't know why I haven't gotten them yet. So I'll just use my little ink spot. All right, so the first thing I have is a white card base, and I chose this picture because it's a close-up and I figured you could see it. Now, I do have white cardstock that I had pulled. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that. And this piece I'm going to put on like so. And in looking at my picture, there's a bit of a border around here. So this is not 4 inches. I'm going to say it's probably 3 3/4 by 5. So let me cut this and see if I like this. And if not, I may have to cut it down a little bit more. So 3 3/4 by 5. All right. Yep, that matches it. So that's the one I'm going to go with. So let me go ahead and put this down. I'm going to move some stuff around here. You can use whichever one you wanted, the pattern-wise. This one has a slight, it's like a hexagon pattern to it. So I wanted something that had a neutral kind of pattern. So that's why I went for the stripes. Hey, Sharon. All right, the next thing I need is, this was cut out of the color and contour dies, but I decided to pull in my perennial postage dies. And this is not going to work. Am I missing one? See, there's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I am missing one. It's this one. And I know it's downstairs. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this one and I'm going to show you how to make a smaller version. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move this over here, is I'm going to take a piece of white, and I've got to cut it down real quick because this is bigger than I need it. So I'll cut it down to this. This will be bigger than I need too, but it'll work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my mat, and I'm going to put it on this way. And I'm going to, oh, I don't have to worry about it. Never mind. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to just cut this out the way it is. I was thinking I had to do something else, and I don't. So I'm going to cut this out, and then I'll show you how I'm going to make it smaller. I'm all about making my dies and things smaller so that I get the size I want. See, this is way too big. All right, so what I'm going to do is I want my die, let's see. All right, I need to cut off just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to match this up, and usually I leave this, let me pull it over another one, in my machine, and do it that way. Now I'm going to take this in place, because what I've done is I've locked the top and the bottom, whoops, into, well, I had it locked. I wanted to show you. See how I've locked it in to the shape? Now I can take it over. That piece isn't sticking. I'll fix it before I put it through, and run this through again. Now it's saying my live is ended on my computer, which I know is not true. So I will get it up and fixed in a minute. All right. My tape's not holding really well, so let me find some more tape that's a little stickier. And tape it down again. Okay, I need one more piece that's sticky. Here we go. All right, hopefully this will work. You have to have good sticky tape. So, all right, so there we have it. I'm going to call my thing back up, because then I can see comments. All right, and now I can take this off, and you got to take it off very carefully, because the piece that I've cut off the side here is a great one for a panel. All right, got it back up. There we go. Now I can see comments. All right. There. So now I have a smaller piece, and I've cut, you know, there's a couple of pieces up here that have to be pulled off because I didn't have it lined up perfect, but you can't tell, so that works. So now I have the panel that I want for my card front. Okay, it's probably a little bigger than I needed, but that's okay. And then this piece is great to save for a fun sentiment image. So there's that. Let me get this out of the way. And now I'm going to stamp my image. So I'm going to start with my green and color my leaves. Now when you color with a marker, make sure you use the side of the marker and not the tip. You'll mess up your tip. Then I'm going to take my yellow, and I'm just going to flick up from the bottom. All right. So I'm flicking it up. All right. Now I'm going to take my peach pie, and I'm just going to go around the top. All right. And what I'm going to do is take a sponge dauber and just kind of dab over it, because that gets rid of that harsh line. And I'm going to stamp this on here like so. Well, oh, I forgot that one. But the peach pie isn't real dark, and they're supposed to match, but it's not dark like that. There's some there. I'm going to flip it over. I don't like to do that because the other side looks nicer, the way it's cut. But this will be okay. So I will do it again. I probably should have stamped it on scrap paper, because what that does is it leaves some of the ink on there, and I think you'll see when I do it this time, it'll be much darker. Okay. And I don't want to forget that little tiny one, so I'm going to do it first. All right. And I'm kind of pressing down. All right, there. And I'm going to go back over it, like I said, with my sponge dauber to blend those edges. And there. Hopefully better. It's just not a dark color. So, but I think it'll work. All right, so this is going to go on with dimensionals. Now I've used, I said they, it's me. I've used some designs, and from that was in that kit, those, to add some extra. The only thing they have, oh, there's some splatters. Let's use the splatters. No, I'm going to use this. I kind of like this image. It's a fun one. So I've got a block way too big, and I'm going to stamp it in peach pie. And I'm going to stamp this one off the first time. And I'm going to stamp some there. Maybe it'll brighten up some. I'm going to move over here because I'm going to go off. And that way I'm not putting the ink on my surface. All right, so I've got some interest there. Now this is going to go on with dimensionals. So I'm going to pull out my dimensionals and add a bunch. This is a great idea for using your tall stamps. You can change the color. I mean, I could have easily done this in Petunia Pop, but I wanted to use a color I haven't played with much. And this was the one that came to mind when I looked at this and saw how similar they are. And that's the reason why I wasn't going to buy this, because it is so similar to inked and tiled. And I have no problems, there it is, using retired stamp sets. So let me get this off. And we'll put it together. And I don't think I'm going to add a ribbon. I could, but I think I'm going to leave it. Obviously, she's finished with her comb, but it should be okay. And I know she doesn't need to go out because I took her out for a walk real quick before I started. All right, so there it is. It does need some gems. I had some, what did I do with them? Here they are. I have these. Let's see. Let's use those gold, for lack of a better term. All right, I've got some of these, so let me have this. I have pieces of things. So I'm going to go 1 and 2, and then at the bottom, I'll do, fell off, don't stick, there's 1, and then I'll use the little ones, 2 and 3. All right, so, whew. There is the first remake idea. And after playing with this, I would say that the flower would look better in a darker color, just because it's a fine detail stamp, so it would look better with a darker color. It's going to show up more. All right, so there's card 1. Now, card 2, I think I'm going to use this one. All right, so I need to clean my stamp. Put it in my thing, and I have to choose my paper. No, it's still got green. It's still got olive on it. I think I got it that time. Because that's all one color. So now I've got to find DSP to do this with. So let me see what I have. I don't want to use the in colors again. Let's see, what do I have that I could use? Let's see, I don't want to use that one because I keep using it. Ooh, I wonder if, what about Meandering Meadow? What do I have in here that might work? Let's see. I don't have much left, so we'll see what I got. All right. That one would work, and then I could use, so that's a possibility. That's a possibility because I would have that. And I have to have 2 pieces. So after I choose this, I just did that color, so no. This one would work, but I like these better because I want my main focus on my image. That's a big one. Nope. That's all blurry. And it's not big enough because this is done in landscape. So let's see. That's got green and that. Let me see if I have any pieces here that I might be able to use. I've got the brown. That doesn't work for me. Let's see what's on the back of these. This one would work at the top for either one. All right, I think I'm going to use that one. All right, let me get all of this put away. And let me see which one. All right. I'm going to flip it upside down to see which one looks better. I like that one, so I'm going with that one. And the reason being is when I put this one on there, there was no sky. This one has some sky, so I can kind of fudge it. All right, so let me put that there. And I need to decide on a color. Now, the color in this, do I have my... No, I don't have my pieces in here. I think this is Melon Mambo. So I'm going to use Melon Mambo and Granny Apple Green, which my marker's not here. Let me see, is my marker on the table? because I used it and didn't put it away. All right, I won't be using Granny Apple Green. Let's do Garden Green instead. I have that marker. I'll find my Granny Apple Green after I'm done. Let me get this stuff put away so I know where everything goes and I'm not making a mess of things. There. All right, now the first thing I want to do is I've got to cut this bottom piece. I'll decide what color to put it on. I might put it on a green. Oh, wait a minute. It's stamped in one color. Okay. What I'll do is change plans. I'm going to, excuse me, stamp it in Melon Mambo and mount it on Granny Apple Green. So let me get a piece of Granny Apple Green and cut it to the size that I need. I'm going to use this piece that I messed up. So it's 4, 5 1/4. And then I need a 1/4 of an inch strip. I can't pick it up, I cut it. I need the 1/4 of an inch strip to grow across the middle. Now, so this is going to go on, well, that's not long enough. That's not going to work. Let me grab another one. All right, here we go. I've used pieces of it, so that one won't work. Let's see. I'm gonna, okay, this is long enough. So this one will work. All right, so I've got my pieces that I need. Bent, but I got it. Now I can fix it. I'm putting this away because if not, I'll be grabbing the wrong thing. All right, now I want this piece at the top. And I'm thinking that's probably about 1 1/4 inches. This will be the bottom. And let's see. All right, I've got 4 inches. So if I do 2 and 2 won't work. So if I do 1 1/2 and like 2 1/2. Oh no, you know what? There isn't a strip. It shows up. It leaves a 1/4 of an inch. So let me cut the top piece. Don't you love it when I do this? All right, I'm going to cut this piece at the top at 1 1/2 inches. All right, and then I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. All right, so there's that. Oh, needs to be 5. Hang on. This is what happens when I don't get to prep ahead of time. All right, so there goes that. And then this is on the bottom. And it's 4, 2 1/4. So I've got to cut the bottom at 2 1/4. And I'm going to cheat a little. Cut this at 5. Okay, what I did, I've cut it to 5, but I cut it up a little higher, so I had some of the sky to kind of blend with that, or it would look funny. So now I'll cut this at 2 1/4 from the bottom. So I'm cutting off the piece I don't need at the bottom. And I can save that as a piece to use for, you know, inside of my card. All right, let's lay this out before I put it down. That looks perfect like that. It kind of goes. So I'm going to go ahead and put this together. All right. And this is a way you can kind of break it up. I'm going to use a skinny piece at the bottom. Hopefully, this side would have worked too if it didn't have that tree on it. See? But this works. Okay. So there's just a skinny strip there. It could have been a little bit wider, but that's okay. Now, this goes on a white card base also, and then we can do our image. All right, so I'm going to do my card base. And let me... Okay. Let me put this on. Now, this time, I think I'm going to use, let's see, Melon Mambo. Let's see what that looks like if I use it. I got to find a panel I can use. And I don't. Oh, this one's very close. I'm not liking that. Let's try Granny Apple Green, since that's the color that's there. I'm just going to pull a piece. It's not one that I'll use, but I'll see if I like it better. Yes, I do. So let me cut. And this is a good size. So this is 2 1/4 by, I'm going to say, it's like 3 1/8, but I'll do 3 1/4. 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So let me cut down a panel. I'm hoping I got a piece in here of scrap. That one had a score line on it, so I couldn't use it. All right, I can do this one. It's long enough. So 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. All right. And my white needs to be 2 by 3. I'm going to put some of this cardstock away that's in my chair. All right. Put it back on the shelf. Let me cut this at 2 by 3. Let's see, I think I have this scrap sitting here that'll work. Yes, it will. 2 by 3. Now, this image is a lot bigger than this. So what I'm going to do is I will take and I will stamp it where I want it. So I'm going to pull my paper over and I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to use Melon Mambo for the whole thing. All right. Now, I really want this big flower in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it all the way over to the side. And see, I get it. Now I could have just cleaned that off, like from here up, and just had the leaves. So if that's something that you would rather do, then do that. Now let's see what this looks like. Oh, I'm putting that away and I don't want to. I think it needs the green background. I'm a little iffy on it, but I think it needs the green background because there's no green on the image. And it just kind of ties it together. So let me put this together like so. And this one has gems on it also. So now I'm going to add this with dimensionals. Gotta cut some more. So this is a great way if you find a card that somebody has posted that you love and you want to make it your own. Now, I'm using current product to show you how to do that, but suppose you find one that's done with current product and you don't have it. Like if you find a card that uses the Spotlight on Nature, which is the new set that I'm using, and you really love it, but you don't have it, but you have inked and tiled, make the card with the inked and tiled stamp set. It's a great way to get more use out of your products so you get more bang for your buck. We all need that in this day and age. All right, here's this, and this goes up at the top. All right, and now I need some gems, and I don't know if I have any Melon Mambo gems, but I'm thinking, I think I'm going to put black on there because I think it'll really make it pop. So I'm going to put black. There. It had some extra pieces. And one more. Come on. Right there. All right. There's the second idea. I picked this up and I thought, oh, I put it together wrong, but it's not. It's the other. So there's card 2. All right, now here's card 3. And as you can see, it's a very light pattern in the background. So let me see, what do I have that's a light pattern? Let me see what papers I have. Ooh, I know which one it'll use. I wasn't going, no, I changed my mind. I'm going to use the Country Lace DSP. I know I've cut some. I'm thinking this piece because it's really nice and simple. And this is Petal Pink, I believe. One of my favorite colors. Yes, Petal Pink. So, it's got just a strip, but to maximize the use of my DSP, I'm cutting it at 4. Then I'm going to get my Petal Pink card base. Hopefully I have one in here already cut and scored, and I don't. So I'll cut and score one. Real quick here. I've got a bunch of stuff over here I'm working on, and that. There we go. See, you guys don't normally see all of this prep work ahead of time because I usually have it done. All right, now I need a piece of white. I think this is the size I need, except for it has to be 4 inches. There's that. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way. All right. So I'm just going to kind of lay it out. Here's that. Now there's a piece that goes down the middle. I'm going to cut my strip down the middle first. All right, I've got this. Let's see. I can cut that because the rest of this, oh, wait a minute. This might be the length that I need. No, it's the full length. That one won't work. So I'll use this one. So it needs to be 5 1/4. And let's try 3 inches. And this is how I do things. I just kind of look at it and say it looks like it's about 3 inches. I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 5 1/4. All right. That looks about right. But the picture looks smaller, but here's my thing. If I go smaller, my problem is my image won't fit on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to clean my stamp and I'm going to stamp my image and cut it out. Okay. And I need pretty in pink and a green. Petal pink, not pretty in pink. Granny apple green would be a good one, but I don't have my granny apple green marker. Now I will tell you, the petal pink is really light, so I think I'm going to use my ink pad. It's darker. I have a granny apple green ink spot. I think I'm going to use it. So there's this and this. Now I'm going to move this out of the way and I'm going to stamp my image and then I can cut it out. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to start with my petal pink and I'm going to use the end. If you have an ink spot, they're perfect. I need to go through my paper pumpkin ones and see which ones I have that are, let me stamp this. Yeah, see, my marker doesn't come out dark like that. I think that'll work. All right. So let me ink it up again. I need to go through my paper pumpkin and pull out my ink spots that I have and use them for this kind of thing. Because if you don't have the markers, you don't have to. You can use ink spots. Now you can use a full pad, but you really have to be patient and take your time. Oh my goodness, I totally missed that one. Hang on. Not going to do that. What I will do, because that's a tiny one, I will use my marker for that. Only because with an ink spot you can use the corner and you'll see the difference when I stamp it. But my marker is not as dark. All right, let me go in here. Good thing I noticed that. I'm going to hit that. And if you get it on some place that it shouldn't be, wipe it off. Like I did. Okay. See how light that is? I mean, you can see that there's something there, but barely. Now, I need my dies, and this is the first time I've used them to cut this out. I haven't even looked at it to see what else is inside. And I'll have to look and see. Oh, these are the circles. Well, guess what? I don't think, let's modify. It's like known as shift. That's too big. Let's try this one. That's still a little too big. This one is too small, so let's try this one. I hate trying to get these things off. No, I'm not liking this. I'm going to fussy cut it. I picked that one because I thought the dies match, but it has those circles. And I haven't even, hey Trudy, I haven't even played with these, so I can't wait to play with those circles. All right, we're going to fussy cut real quick. And you'll see how I fussy cut. I find it easiest to go around and cut around the image in general and then go back and cut in the middle and get the other pieces out. It won't be as good as if I get rid of that. That'll help if I had taken my time, but okay. I'm going to go ahead down in there and go ahead down in here, and I'm not going to go down in there because it's really narrow. Okay, now I've got that. Let me cut this piece out. All right, yeah, see, it's really, let me see. I think it's gonna look funny if I don't. There. I've got to fix that little flower because there's no top to it. It's all just kind of a straight line, so I'm gonna kind of cut it some. Okay. I have to tell you, you can't see it, but I'm in my fussy cutting stance. I know it sounds strange, but I find when I fussy cut, I spread my legs apart. I have a wide stance. Don't ask me why. I do it. It really bothers me. You know what? I'm going to get rid of it. So here's what I'm going to do. It bothers me that it wasn't dark enough. See? It's gone. Nobody knows that there's supposed to be something there but you and I. So if you don't like it, cut it off. All right. One side done. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to do this side. And I'm going to go down here. I give myself as much space as I can. So I'm not, when you got really thin lines, you got to be careful. All right, I'm not going to cut that off till the very end. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to cut this a little closer. And first one I'm going to cut is I'm going to go in here and cut that. And there's a piece in the middle that the only way to get to it is to stab it. And I'm not going to fool with that. All right, See this piece? I'm not going to fool with it, I don't think, because I'd have to stab it. Let me finish this and I'll think about it. It's really hard because the pieces are very narrow. The tips of my leaves are kind of pointy, so I'm fixing those as I go. This is where you have to be careful. See how it's, you have to be careful with your cutting. That's why dies are great. I give credit to those people who love to fussy cut. I don't mind it, but it's not my favorite. There. Now I have to do this piece. Get down in here. All right, I've got it. And let me cut this. See, I'm afraid if I cut that, it's really going to weaken that in there. But we'll see. I may just say, go ahead and give it a try. Because I'm going to have to put, you know what I'll do? Give me, where's my dimensionals? Give me a little tiny piece here. I'm going to strengthen that. With the dimensional. Now the back came off, but I'm not worried about it. All right, now it's strengthened and it's a little bit better. All right, wish me luck. I'm going in. All right, there's my pointy, really pointy end. And this is where you have to be careful not to stab yourself. Maybe I start it with my pokey tool. I need my mat. Hang on. I have a piercing mat. If I can get a hole started, there, then I can put my scissors in the hole and just make little tiny cuts. I kind of, maybe, sometimes I'll come in this way. Oh, I got part of it out. I got to clean up this side. Come on. I got that. And I think I'm going to leave it at that because I've got lots of space. So let me get this out of here. All right, so if I do that, let's see. This is the perfect size. So I'm going to cut this at, this was 3 inches, I believe. Let me make sure. 3 inches by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4 and then 2 3/4 wide. 5 1/4 first, and then 2 3/4. All right, and then this is going to go on here. I really love this paper. It does have the new basic beige in there, which I have not purchased. And not planning on it, so I'll be playing with what colors I can use it with. All right, it's crooked. Come on. I didn't push down, so you shouldn't stick. There we go. I got to get it up one more. Come on. There. Now this is a little longer. No, it's not. All right, this is going to go on here. And it's going to go on here. I've got to see my picture, and there's more of a border here than here. So I'm going to slide it over and stick it down. Kim, this is an image that I would stamp and use my silhouette to cut out. And then I'm going to put this on my card. I would not be fussy cutting it either, but I'm trying to mimic that, and that's the reason why I did it. I did fussy cut that one though, because I don't think there was a die for that either. I could be wrong, but it does look like I fussy cut it. All right, let's put this on. She's finished with her Kong, and she's like, get me out of here. And it's like, no, 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 not yet. All right, let me cut some more dimensionals. And I don't remember which ones have petal pink in it. I'll have to see. And see, I'm going to place this one down low to help support that one. And then I need some more, another skinny piece for the bottom stem. Right about there. All right, now when you take your backs off this, be very careful, because if not, you'll rip things off. So as you see, I'm not piercing them, I'm popping them up and then taking it off with my finger. One more, because that other one came off. Come on. Couldn't get it. All right, let me add this. What I would probably do is stamp with my silhouette, stamp an image, cut it out, and then put another one in there and just cut a bunch out and use the frame and stamp it that way. Because I like it cut out. All right, now I need some gems and some twine. So let me see. Do we have any petal pink gems? And I have to look back at the old catalog because the new catalog doesn't have the colors in it. And I don't like that. Usually I take and write them on there. I haven't done that yet. I need to go through. The pastel adhesive back sequins does. That's downstairs because I used it yesterday and I haven't taken the picture yet. So I may end up using, I think I'm going to use the same ones I have been using because, ooh, those would go. I can use those. So let me use these. All right, now I've got one there and another big one down here and a small one there, a small one there, and a small one there. Now let me get some twine. I don't know if I have any pink. I know I have white. But is there a pink? Let me see if I have any in here that would match it. Nope, that's too pink. So I'm going to use the white. I was thinking it was more of a peachy color, but it's not. I'm going to use this. I don't know where this came from. I've had it for a while, but I love it. It was probably from a paper pumpkin. on? Okay, what's going on here? Am I pulling the wrong piece? Yes. I'm not pulling the loop. All right, now let me fix this. All right, cut this. And a glue dot. And this card is done. All right, give me this one. It's a big one, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right in the middle, push down, pinch it. Well, thank you, Kim. Sometimes you have to kind of bite the bullet and do it. But like I said, that might be one that I take and see if I can't cut a bunch out without stamping it, and take and do that. All right, so there's the last idea. All right, I'm going to pull in all the cards so you can see. Oh, I moved it. One more. Here it is. So this one was number 1 with peach pie. This one was number 2 with melon mambo and granny apple green. And this one was number 3 with petal pink. So, which one's your favorite? 1, 2, or 3? I like playing with this kind of stuff. I'm not a fan of peach pie. I'll be honest with you. I think this might have been better if I did the tops in melon and the leaves in granny apple green, but again, one of those things. Oh, we've got one person that likes peach pie. There's something about it. It looks too orangey to me. It looks orange. I'm not a fan of pumpkin pie because of orange. I'm just not a fan of orange. This, I love petal pink because it's a muted orange. It's almost peachy versus this peach. You know, when we have peaches down here, I see this color a lot. I don't see this bright color much, but maybe I'm not looking at them. All right, so there are the 3 ideas. I'm going to get ready and flip this up. If you get dizzy, close your eyes. And we'll finish up. Boy, I had a long one for you today. That's because I threw in the 3rd card. I didn't plan on it, you know, or I planned on it, but I didn't plan on it taking so long, but then it happens. Okay, ladies, I'm going to let you go so you can get your day started. I need to get my day started. I have a ton of things to do, and I have to get that little one over there out of her crate so that she can go play for a little bit. We did take a walk, so she had some energy gotten out of. And hopefully the Kong has kind of challenged her mentally that she'll be a little tired for a while. You guys have a great weekend. I will be back next Saturday. I hope you're here. Not certain what I'm doing. If you something you want me to do, send me a message. I will, Kim. And let me know. I will gladly try some things. And even if I don't have exactly what you want me to do, I can try it with what I do have. Okay, ladies, I hope I see you, Monday nights in the customer group. I hope I see you either Monday night, Wednesday on YouTube, or here next Saturday. Bye.